Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of October 22nd, 2023. The Zodiac Signs as Mirrors webinar is today at 11 a.m. Pacific Time. It's too late to sign up, but you can watch it live on YouTube if you hear this in time or just catch the recording. The Foundations of Astrology class begins next Sunday, October 29th at 10 a.m. Pacific Time. It's going to be a 6-week course, which I will teach live to teach you all about the basics and the foundations of astrology. So go to astrologybyceleste.com and check out the page to see if you're interested in joining. I would love to have you. There are 2 astrology in action stories that I want to bring your attention to. Now, I record this early, so I don't know what has transpired over the last several days. As the sun was moving to conjunct the South Node, the sun rules leaders, and the South Node is a drain that takes things away. They were both at 24 Libra, which is conjunct the fixed star Spica, which is a star of success and honors, and people who have it in their chart conjunct a planet or an angle often are lifted up or highly successful. The House of Representatives had the first floor vote for the Speaker of the House, and Jim Jordan lost the vote. Now, at the same time, the North Node is conjunct the dwarf planet Eris, Eris was the goddess of chaos who rolled an apple into a party and had 3 goddesses fighting over the apple. It was supposed to be for the fairest of them all. And so chaos is amok in Congress in the U.S. And then there was the hospital bombing in Gaza. And right now there's still debate over was it a Hamas rocket gone awry or did Israel fire the rocket? Whoever fired it, hundreds of people have died. It is an absolute tragedy. And the Palestinian Authority leader canceled his meeting with President Biden. So the sun rules leaders like presidents, and the meeting is canceled. And the intention of the meeting was to negotiate ways to move towards peace. Libra rules peace. Astrology is literal. The theme of this week is obstacles removed, and there are 3 big things I want you to think about as we navigate this week. The first is that the sun will enter the sign of Scorpio on Monday until November 22nd. Scorpio is a fixed water sign, so fixed signs hold the energy, and water signs are deeply emotional and feeling. It's ruled by Mars, the planet of action, drive, and aggression. Traditionally, and by Pluto, the lord of the underworld in modern astrology. Pluto can humble, eliminate, empower. Pluto has a mass influence and it can go to extremes. It can strip away. It can erupt. So Scorpio is one of the most intense signs. Its tagline is, I bring the intensity. The scorpion, the eagle, and the phoenix are all archetypes related to the sign. You can think about the scorpion, how it can sting or is out for vengeance if it's hurt. The eagle can be very strategic, fly above the situation, have a large view of what the possibilities are, and then take strategic action to strike specifically. And the phoenix rises from the ashes. So after everything's been stripped away, or you've had to walk through fire, or the dark night of the soul, the phoenix rises from the ashes. People with strong Scorpio signatures in their chart can be great detectives because the sign is very probing, trying to get down to the bottom of things to bring to light what is hidden. Or wonderful healers that can be with people through life and death situations, or psychologists who can hold space for people going through discussing, very difficult things. Also can be very magnetic or highly sexual, or desiring power, dealing with overwhelming emotions, including sometimes depression is possible, as well as being incredibly intuitive and just having a deep knowing. At this time, there can be a thinning of the veil, where the veil between life and death is at its thinnest. It's the time where we celebrate Halloween or Day of the Dead. These are in Scorpio season. The leaves fall from the trees and, die in certain places. I think the best use of this energy is taking time to really let the deep emotions come up so that they can be dealt with in a healthy way rather than bursting out in anger or irritation. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that we have some really beneficial trines in action. And trines remove all obstacles. It's a smooth, easy flow of energy. And yesterday we had Venus in Virgo trine Jupiter in Taurus. So these are the benefics talking. So hopefully you had a beautiful time this weekend and some indulgences and good food and good wine and all of that kind of stuff. That's a beautiful way to use Venus trine Jupiter. Now, some people may also just be feeling lazy, and just honor that. You may also feel like you have all the resources you need to achieve your big ideals or goals or dreams. Jupiter and Venus are in earth signs, and earth manifests. Now today, Mercury in Scorpio is trine Saturn in Pisces. Now Saturn is retrograde and barely moving. So I feel like this could give you the mental focus, Mercury, in order to stick to something and achieve Saturn, your dreams. Yeah, so this can give you a lot of focus to stick with what you're working on. And then on Tuesday, the Sun will trine Saturn. So I think could be really fantastic energy. Now, it also could be used to get into a big argument or conflict. Mercury takes on the nature of what it's talking to, and Saturn can be very critical or judgmental or harsh. So can you, if your kid came in late because they were out partying, can you give them some grace when you speak to them about why they shouldn't have done what they did? But I like this energy for removing all obstacles and moving things forward. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that we're having a lunar eclipse in Taurus. On Saturday, it's going to be at 5 degrees of Taurus, and it relates back to the moon phase family that began on April 30th of 2022, when the sun and the moon were both in Taurus at 10 degrees of Taurus. That was a solar eclipse. And think back to what started in your life at that time. For me, it was starting this podcast. The first quarter moon related to that phase was the sun was in Aquarius and the moon was in Taurus, both at 8 degrees on January 28th, 2023. Now on October 28th, we come to the lunar eclipse. So there may be a story that's relating back to either of those phases. The last quarter moon of this cycle is when the sun's in Leo, the moon's in Taurus, both at 5 degrees on the July 27th, 2024. Taurus is a fixed earth sign that is ruled by Venus. And you can think about topics Taurus rules includes banks, real estate, agriculture, the stock market, food, and hotels. This is the last Taurus eclipse in this axis, the Taurus Scorpio axis of what is mine versus what is ours. Taurus is a sign of resources. It's patient, preserving, and steadfast. I really like to think of the Empress card with this energy. People with strong Taurus energy are manifestors, are able to stick with things in order to move them to completion. They make great project managers. At this eclipse, Mercury is conjunct Mars in Scorpio and opposite Jupiter in Taurus. There is something big that's coming that's going to be related to this aspect in the chart of the lunar eclipse. Mercury can destabilize and argue, and Mars attacks. Now, Mercury also rules transportation and commerce in addition to communication. And Jupiter rules religious institutions, royalty, leaders, celebrity. When I first looked at this chart, I saw declaration of war or something. I hope there's not a terrorist attack. I'm pretty concerned about New York City. Now, this might just be about like a lot of students arguing and fighting on campuses, or may make big news, but something that's going on in the chart of New York City. And I looked at it because one of my followers on Instagram asked me to do so. The progressed moon for New York City is at 26 degrees of Scorpio, and it makes an exact conjunction with its progressed Chiron and retrograde in Scorpio at 26 degrees on October 27th. So the day before the lunar eclipse. So I'm a little concerned about something going on in New York City. If you live there, I would avoid as much as you can big crowds, or maybe even just trust your intuition. Pull a card before you get on the subway or something like that. Hopefully it's nothing like that. It could be like a big protest for peace is something that could happen on that day. We shall see, but the Mercury-Mars opposite Jupiter really makes me feel like there is going to be some kind of attack somewhere. And I don't think it is just about what's going on. I think it's related to what's going on in the Middle East, but it might not just be happening there. There's something, I'm just concerned. I could be totally wrong, but listen to your intuition. If your spidey senses start tingling, get out of the place that you are at. Now, it could also just be like a scorpionic figure dying, or let's hope not some kind of assassination of a Jupiterian type figure. We shall see. It could also be Mercury, Mars, and Scorpio fighting on the seas. We shall see. On Sunday, the word of the day is snooping. As we enter the week, the moon is in Aquarius. Aquarius is an air sign that allows you to take a step back and have a higher perspective. Now, Mercury's in Scorpio, and it's in trine and parallel to Saturn in Scorpio, retrograde at 0 degrees of Pisces. So they're both at 0 degrees. So there may be something in the collective relating to this, like the violence I'm seeing may have already happened. We shall see. Or this could be someone's just feeling really suspicious or something, and then of their partner, and then so they go and start snooping in their phone or something. And I say that because Venus in Virgo is sesqui-square Pluto. There can be relationship issues that really hyperstimulate the concerns about betrayal or something. Someone could demand a phone from their partner or put a tracker on someone's car. I'm seeing Hank in Breaking Bad putting the tracker on Walter White's car as he starts following him around. That was such a good show. But if you use your better judgment with the Aquarius moon, and maybe you will not do that because I don't think anything good is going to come of it. On Monday, the word of the day is shadows. The sun enters the sign of Scorpio at 9:20 a.m. Pacific time. Scorpio is deep waters. This is intense. So if you're at a meeting, you may notice people as the sun moves from air sign Libra to water sign Scorpio, a big change in the energy where people get quiet. It may get more serious and emotional, but it's great to use this energy to be strategic. On Tuesday, the word of the day is exits. On this day, the sun in Scorpio is trine Saturn in Pisces. So there will be a spotlight on Saturnian things, trines with that easy, smooth flow energy. You can see your way forward past obstacles. You can discover how to get past the blocks. So I love this energy for work. Now, after the moon will enter Pisces at 1:32 a.m. Pacific time. Whenever the moon is in Pisces, it will bring endings. Now, the people who were snooping in the phone may have a breakup when the person discovers it or finds the tracker on their car. Maybe on this day, we will find out for certain the sun can shine the truth on something about who is responsible for the hospital bombing in Gaza. Also, with the 0 degrees, I think someone prominent is going to Saturn die. And it could be a religious figure or someone who's known for their compassion, Pisces. Notice if you read stories that are spotlighting people like dying of drug overdoses, Saturn and Pisces, or a lack of availability of drugs, Pisces rules drugs in hospitals, like, all the people taking the obesity medications like Ozempic and Wegovy for weight loss, and people who have diabetes are having a lack, Saturn, of these drugs. Also, anything about lack of water is another thing we may be hearing about, how the lack of water and drugs in Gaza has resulted in, a horrific catastrophe for the people there. On Wednesday, the word of the day is fertile. We have a gibbous moon at 16 Pisces at 5:20 a.m. Pacific time. The gibbous moon, when you look at the moon, it looks pregnant with possibilities. This could be great baby making energy. The sun in Scorpio, the moon in Pisces. Yes, it could. Very, very sexy energy. On Thursday, the word of the day is courage. The moon will enter Aries at 3:01 a.m. Pacific time. Aries is a cardinal fire sign. It's initiating. So you might need to initiate a courageous conversation. Mercury and Mars are conjunct in Scorpio. So can you get together your strategy in order to articulate exactly what you want to say in a way that will be persuasive? Yeah, and opposite Jupiter, that could be you planning out or talking about the big vision and getting someone else to buy into it. Now, Venus in Virgo is also Quincunx Chiron in Aries at 6:10 p.m. Pacific time. I'm a little worried about this day for a potential for violence. Yeah, so someone may have to be really courageous and brave in order to get through a difficult time. But hopefully you will just be in a situation where you can take the actions you need in order to stand up for yourself and your principles and not back down out of fear. On Friday, the word of the day is steamy. Mars in Scorpio is sesqui-square Neptune in Pisces. I just feel like boiling water. Now, this can be scorching the sheets, so this could be very, very sexy energy. Mars in Scorpio can be very passionate. And Neptune, you feeling the love and getting swept away with the emotions. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it's not the sinking the battleship that I mentioned earlier. On Saturday, the word of the day is epic. The moon will enter the fixed sign of Taurus on 4:44 a.m. Pacific time. Taurus is earth energy. So can you go outside and rub your feet in the grass? I think that can be really helpful. Taurus rules the throat, so notice if anything around the eclipse comes up around throats or singers or things like that. Kanye West's chart is very activated. We'll see if maybe it'll just be Kanye West goes ballistic with this energy. I don't know. Mars and Scorpio will be opposite Jupiter in retrograded in Taurus. They're both at 11 degrees. So there may be a story for you if you have planets around 11 degrees of fixed signs. The lunar eclipse at 5 Taurus is at 1:23 p.m. Pacific time. The action may have already happened last night, but there could be something tonight as well related to this eclipse, and Mercury will be opposite Jupiter as well. Mercury in Scorpio, opposite Jupiter and Taurus, both at 11 degrees. The fact that Mars opposes Jupiter, we have the lunar eclipse, then Mercury opposes Jupiter. There is something big going down related to this eclipse that's of a Scorpio, Taurus nature, of this axis of pleasure, power, and resources. So see what you see shows up in your life. It could be a great night to have a wonderful party. This could be a lot of fun where it's epic. There's just great food, and it's like the conversations take on a little intensity, and could be very, very, very sexy if you meet someone on this night. I highly recommend that you take it slow. Allow yourselves to flirt for a while. Let the person or you court the other person. Yeah, that would be my recommendation. And remember, next Sunday, Astrology Foundations 101 begins. So look at the link in the show notes or go to astrologybyceleste.com to check it out to see if you'd like to join. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories about what happened for you during the eclipse. Hopefully it's just wonderful and bringing love and money and good feelings for you. But people are going through some stuff. So give yourself and others grace. Take care, and I'll catch you next week. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.